share is we want to make sure that we are opening up a career pathway to the next generation that really wants to make youth development, youth education, their career. We are excited to have FHI 360 here with us that are going to talk a little bit about what an apprenticeship program is. And then Aspire is going to share more about the specific opportunity that we have at Aspire. And then we are all happy to answer questions about what this apprenticeship program looks like and what resources we have available. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Kelly.
Thanks so much, Melanie, and it's a pleasure to be with you all this afternoon. We're really excited to be working with Aspire and Thrive to create opportunities for young people and adults who are interested in supporting and serving youth. So next slide. So as Melanie pointed out, we'll do some quick introductions. And I am Kelly Middleton Banks. I'm the technical advisor with Workforce and Education at the Institute for Work and Learning. And a little bit about FHI 360 and the Institute for Work and Learning. FHI 360 is an international and domestic nonprofit. We've been around for about 60 years. We've supported over 50 countries. And we really look at supporting communities around health, education, and workforce. And for Institute for Work and Learning, we really look at the cross-section between workforce and education and look for ways to help local communities thrive through locally led solutions. And so we are thrilled to be working with Aspire and Thrive as we think about how to support youth serving organizations and young people in career opportunities in supporting other youth. Next slide. So
And
now I should
before,
turn it over to my colleague Daria Early. She'll give a little bit about an apprentice experience.
you can tell that I'm so excited to be here. I work with Kelly as a technical officer to expand this. And before we got too into the logistics of what apprenticeship looks like and what it takes, we really wanted to start by sharing a brief snippet of an apprentice experience, as well as one of our alumni quotes on the left-hand side. We're always really happy to elevate these. But without too much preamble, I'll go ahead and let Brian Castro speak, who was our first apprentice to go through the program in its entirety. He received, I think, 3 promotions from being hired on as an apprentice to where he ended up. And to this day is continuing to do great things and also pursue his passion for music and for helping out his community.
When I first started here and I was speaking to David, I told him I was interested in only being a firefighter. As time went on and more that I was in YDPA, my mind changed. I was shown that I want to help out youth. I want to help out people in a different way than just being the muscle when there's a fire. I want to help out people before they even the fire starts. And I got really into the job. I definitely have to give my toodle to YDPA and SBCS. They have definitely helped me grow into the person I am today, definitely. And I'm very grateful. And yeah, the thing with the firefighters, I have trained with them. I enjoyed it, but not as much as helping out these youth. I feel youth are vital to our future, and I would love to help them out how these types of programs have helped me.
Thank you so much, Daria, for sharing that experience of Brian and how he saw the YDPA program as an opportunity to help him support other youth. As he said, they're vital to our communities, to our growth as a society. And so YDPA has helped him be able to meet that charge. And so we wanted to lay some foundation around apprenticeships in general before we went into the more specifics around the Youth Development Practitioner Apprenticeship. So this just provides you some general stats for apprenticeships that you could find at the Department of Labor and apprenticeship.gov. that average starting salary can be $80,000 for some apprenticeship programs. Apprenticeships help with retaining talent with a 90% employment retention. And then over the lifetime of an apprentice's earning, they can amass over $300,000. And so it really just gives you an idea of how not only apprenticeship programs support the individuals, but also support employers in creating the opportunity for retention and access to career growth and trajectory. Next slide, Daria. So when we're talking about apprenticeships, and it could be very new to some of you, for others, you may be familiar with it. An apprenticeship program consists of 5 specific pieces. What's at the heart of it is that the employer is involved and engaged in providing that mentorship and that job opportunity for the apprentice. Aspire now is taking on that role, and they'll have a chance to talk more about that later on. And through that, the apprentice is going to go through some structured on-the-job learning. So they'll get a chance to actually have hands-on experience in the role that they are pursuing. And with that, also gain academic skills and through academic training with the related instruction. And that can be done in a variety of ways through community colleges or community partners. FHI 360 is actually the related technical provider for the Youth Development Practitioner Apprenticeship. So we provide that RTI. And through that, they gain wage increases as well as additional skills gain. And at the end, we'll receive that national credential from the Department of Labor. So at the heart of it, this is what consists of an apprenticeship. As these 5 components, and it is helpful to provide some of that foundational understanding as we continue to talk more about the specifics of YDPA. Next slide. Now, a lot of times people are like, well, what's the difference between an apprenticeship and a job? And I think this really lays it out for you. In a job, you may go paycheck to paycheck, but an apprenticeship gives you an opportunity to earn while you learn. It also creates some more structured professional development that you may not always have access to, and if it's just a traditional job. There's opportunity for mentorship. You have someone that is going to walk alongside you and provide you with the support and guidance for you to be successful. It also allows for you to have that credential at the end from the Department of Labor, which you may not always receive in more traditional or structured jobs. And then last but not least, it gives you a clear idea of what your career trajectory is and career pathway is for the work that you are interested in doing. And so this Youth Development Practitioner Apprenticeship is allowing for others to engage in supporting and serving youth, and then being able, as Brian so excellently has shown, continue to move and become promoted and continue on as they grow in their career. Next slide. So why participate in an apprenticeship program? For the apprentices, I'll actually start there. It really does create an opportunity for them to earn and learn, and have the chance to grow into the role, to gain the necessary mentorship and support. It also gives them a chance to grow their wages, and creating an opportunity for better economic stability. It also allows them to see what is also available in that career path and that career industry. So that way they can identify other opportunities for them to continue to grow their professional skills and to identify other opportunities for their role. And you also have the chance to continue to learn and grow with that employer partner, with that mentorship and guidance. So it really does create a great opportunity for apprentices, for individuals who are looking to have that support and that academic training to be able to excel in their role as an apprentice and in that industry. And for employers, it's a great recruitment tool because it shows that you are investing in your staff, into the people that you're bringing on board. As mentioned earlier, again, it increases retention. It also helps build a talent pipeline. We're in desperate need of creating out more opportunities and more ways to support youth in local communities. And youth development practitioner, being able to train more young people, more individuals to be able to provide services to youth, allows for a greater opportunity for communities to meet the growing needs and demands. It also helps for staff to transfer knowledge across the team and with the younger employees and staff. It helps develop the future leaders of this work. And we, as Brian mentioned, the youth are critical and vital to that. And it also addresses some of the other needs that an employer may see because apprenticeships can be somewhat customizable and can really be developed in a way that is reflective of that employer's not only needs, but the type of population that they're serving and the type of services that they're providing. So this just gives an idea of some of the basics of apprenticeship. I'll now, I believe, turn it over to my colleague Daria, who's going to go into the more specifics of what youth development practitioner apprenticeship is. And then we'll have a chance to also hear from Aspire and Thrive around some of the opportunities that are available for the local community. Daria?
Thanks, Kelly. And we wanted to, after kind of setting the big why of this works for employers, apprentices, training organizations, communities, and so on, really get a sense of how an individual or participant moves through this program. So employers start by saying, yes, it makes sense to us. We have capacity to support. We're interested in retaining skilled staff. And they work with FHI 360 at no added cost through our grant funding to access the credential, complete some paperwork. It's always about compliance with the government, but we make it as easy and fun as it can be. And then apprentices get access to a no-cost curriculum facilitated by our trainers, or in some cases of other occupations, our training partners. Employers also receive some training in general on how apprenticeship works. Of course, we want them to be well prepared to facilitate it, but also exploring other opportunities. What kind of funding opens up as a part of being an apprenticeship host site? What other organizations can you connect with in your community that might be doing similar work? We often have groups of employers. We work largely with nonprofits and CBOs. So getting them integrated into one another's systems, understanding the landscape of services has been good, not just for their bottom line and being better resourced, but also the community and better coordination of care for the young people they're serving. We also love to meet with employers, whether that's the mentor or the supervisor, the apprentices themselves, to make sure it's going well and it's a beneficial experience. Most of our apprentices complete within 9 months. I would say under 12 encapsulates just about everyone. And that's a little bit unique for apprenticeship, but it was important for us to keep it towards 12 months or less because we know these roles are really high burnout, high demand, right? It takes all of you to provide great services to a young person. So having a program that was 2 or 3 years was a little bit more challenging and not what we were seeing participants ask for. So it's designed to be shorter term, ready to integrate into existing jobs already and help that apprentice earn the Department of Labor certificate. We're also always working to stack on credentials. So if there's industry specific ones that apprentices or employers are interested in, as Kelly mentioned, with that customization piece, we can add those in throughout the curriculum. This slide gives a little bit more insight into what exactly is included in the apprenticeship. We can share out our curriculum overview afterwards that shows the exact activities and materials that are included. But our apprenticeship is competency based. So that means it's not apprentices just logging hours and they eventually finish. It's really emphasizing the skills gain, the knowledge gain, and that the apprentice can demonstrate the knowledge that they're getting from this experience. So they're able to move at their own pace. But it encompasses these 9 domains, starting with PYD or positive youth development principles, and then keeps building on and getting a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more challenging as they move through, and then ending with a continued professional development plan. Of course, we don't want people's learning to stop on month 9 or month 10, as well as making sure they're thinking about how to take care of themselves to prevent some of those later challenges that can cause people to leave the profession. I won't do too much on this, but to give you a sense of when we say those 9 modules, each of them will include a variety of these topic areas and tasks, ranging from 2 live synchronous virtual workshops a month where apprentices have the opportunity to discuss learning, challenges on the job application, and really get to form a learning community with others in the program. And through that, they'll also work on independent tasks like watching videos and connecting ideas to their job, trying out new competencies or tasks with the young people they're working with. We always have a couple of different ways to measure understanding and skills gain, one being short quizzes at the end of modules, as well as larger performance-based tasks where they might be facilitating case management meetings or designing organizational improvement plans. And then for the mentor and supervisor, as I mentioned previously, we like to have a high touch environment when it comes to staying in contact with employer sites to make sure that not only the apprentice is getting the support they need, both on the job and in these asynchronous modules, but also that the mentor is getting some professional development as well and upskilling in that way. So the way that this breaks down in a week, it can be variable. Of course, everyone has busy season and slightly less busy season. I won't ever say slow, but most of the time you're still working on your job duties, right? You're still being that excellent professional that you were hired to be. In the case of an apprenticeship, you're also going to be aligning and getting feedback from some of the tasks that are aligned with the competencies. So if you usually coach a young person in an apprenticeship, that 20% time, your mentor may observe a coaching session and give you structured feedback. You may be able to attend a board meeting and understand how that influences funding streams for your organization. And then that 10% of time is when you'll be logging in to access modules or attending those synchronous twice a month calls. I will pause there. We can be active in the chat if there are any other questions. I see Melanie already prompted that, but would love to turn it over to our friends and colleagues to share a little bit more about this particular opportunity. And I will stay clicking the slides, so please just verbally say next when you're ready to transition.
Thank you. We can go to the next slide. So hi, everyone. My name is Paula Finbo, and I'm with Aspire. I want to share a little bit about what youth apprentices, where they would be working, what they should know about Aspire, and what their days will look like. So at Aspire, we are a after school and full day summer program. We are the only daily academic after school and summer programming that is available to no cost Arlington 3rd through 8th graders. And we really work to catch our kids up with learning and bridge the educational opportunity gap in South Arlington so that our students have all the access to their full potential to not only catch up in reading and math in school, but to be supported through social emotional lessons. We provide support to families as well because learning is so holistic. And make sure that our students in all their brilliance can do and become aspire anything that they want to be. So we have a vision, and that is what that we want is that all children, regardless of income, race, ethnicity, are able to succeed as learners and thrive as healthy and happy individuals. And what we do at Aspire is every day we provide a social emotional learning lesson, a hot meal, support with tutoring and homework help, also literacy curriculum, so support in reading, support in math and STEM projects. We do some fun field trips. We have special interest guilds once a week where students can choose from different topics from cooking to chess to video making so that they can really explore careers and fall in love with things that interest them and learn in a really hands-on way, as well as time for kids just to be kids, whether they're playing soccer in the gym or making art projects or talking with their friends. And we try to make sure that everything we do is aligned with our 5 values of growth and making sure that students really grow their potential while they're at Aspire, that we're connecting students, families, and communities, which is also one of the reasons we're so excited about having this apprenticeship program. We believe we can build stronger connections within the South Arlington community, as well as with other Arlington nonprofits, such as Arlington Thrive. We're committed to equity and access, and particularly bridging that opportunity gap. Excellence and fun and caring. We're a really fun place to be. All you have to do is walk through our doors and you will instantly say, I like it here. This seems like a fun place. We've included a link here to the Youth Apprentice job description. Youth apprentices would get a variety of support from Aspire, from their mentor, and we work really closely with the youth development and out of school time field. And so you'd also be building that type of talent that is so important. There's no better person to work with youth than people who have been youth themselves. And your mornings would start off with being able to learn either from teams, the individual training, or in group setting, hands-on, practice and experience under a guided mentor or teacher that you'd be assigned to. In the afternoons, you'd get to apply all of that hands-on learning in helping run our classrooms. I will turn it over to Melanie to talk about Arlington Thrive.
Thank you, Paula. As we've all said, we're really excited that we're all working together on this program. We're all very passionate about working with the community and finding these career opportunities. We want the youth that are signing up for this program to be successful. So our role here is to help provide supportive services to the individuals that are signing up for this program. We have a dedicated staff here who can help the apprentices with potential financial assistance, questions about transportation, how to navigate the benefit system, and just any other barriers that the youth might be finding as they are going through this program. Next slide. This is really where we wanted to help answer questions. So if you have any questions for anyone on the call, whether it's the Thrive team, the Aspire team, or FHI 360, please drop it in the chat or just raise your hand. We're happy to answer. I've also dropped the application link in the chat that Paula mentioned earlier. So jump in with any questions that you might have. Hey, Brian.
Hi, folks. Thanks for hosting this call. I joined and then I realized I couldn't hear anything, and I feel like I missed some things at the top. So I apologize. This
That's
question might
okay.
be a repeat of something you said at the top. But could you share more about the scale of the program? How many, students, or just the type of investment, I guess, that's that y'all are making, and just what you hope to see in this first phase?
Sure. So this is best described as a pilot. We want to see how this works. We are specifically looking for 2 new apprentices to start this coming year with Aspire.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
And for us as intermediaries and sponsors, we received an apprenticeship expansion grant from the Federal Department of Labor. So our effort is across the country, and we've expanded to over 200 apprentices across our occupations. So even though we're only a few years into the space, I think we're seeing a lot of investment follow this trend, as well as organizations seeing that there's a need to train and retain staff.
I have a question for Paula and the Aspire team. What are some of the top skills that you have seen that are would make a candidate successful as one of these apprentices?
Great question, Mel. I think first and foremost is an interest in working with youth. So whether that comes through, patience, through lived experience of remembering what it was like to be that age yourself and knowing how important it was to have somebody, other than your parents that you knew just really cared and is invested in you, makes a big difference. I would say also, someone who understands or is passionate about filling the opportunity gap, that understands that, students who are coming from low income environments are set up to succeed a lot differently than students from more moderate income or higher income families, and who understand those systemic barriers that get in the way of allowing just equitable, full access to education. I think creativity that can be used in a variety of learning activities, from art to reading to science. Students who come to Aspire have been in school all day. So when they're coming, it's really like this open, loving environment where everything they do is centered around learning, but in a really fun, hands-on way. Our current, team members have a lot of different personalities. Some are really outgoing, some are more reserved, but with that, commitment to closing the opportunity gap, with looking at education as being relational and creative. I think regardless of personality, we've seen a lot of different people thrive with those kind of three core aspects.
And I can second your comment earlier. Aspire is a very fun and happy place. I love whenever we get a chance to go over there. I'm a particular fan of your library area. I love that space. Are there any other questions for FHI 360 or the Aspire team or the Thrive team? As I mentioned, I dropped the link that Paula mentioned into the chat. I've also dropped in Kathy's email if anyone has any specific questions about some of the services. We will make sure to post the webinar for those that have questions, but I know that everyone from Aspire and Thrive and FHI 360 would be happy to answer questions. Brian asked a great question. We are excited to start with two, but our goals are much larger than those two apprentices in this first pilot year, and we want to see this be a really successful program that is bringing in a whole new generation of individuals that are really excited about youth development and are looking for a career pathway in that area.
And I'll close from Aspire here by saying, while this is a year, pilot opportunity, our goal is that it can develop into so much more. At Aspire, like we're coming out of this last year celebrating 100% staff retention. We find, it's a culture that, people are really invested in and they want to stay. And our priority would be to, when we do have openings after apprentices finish that year, to be able to hire them, as permanent members of the Aspire team. But we're also working with Arlington Thrive, Arlington County Parks and Rec, other nonprofits that if we don't have openings for the youth apprentices after that first year, we would get agreements where youth apprentices, other Arlington County nonprofits or youth serving agencies would guarantee a first round interview to apprentices coming out of the Aspire Youth Apprentice Program, knowing that it provides such great opportunity for both hands-on learning and training and cultivation.
Thank you, Paula. Well, we will wrap the webinar. Thank you for joining us today. there are some links again in the chat for further information, and we'll make sure to share this webinar with others that might be interested. And if you know anyone that's interested, please pass it on.
Yeah, we're going to be hoping to hire these 2 people starting in mid to later August. So would love your help spreading this job description around far and wide.
Thank you all. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.